Krishna, Radhe Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
We usually consider knowledge as supreme. However, when we get the taste of devotion, even knowledge seems tasteless, and we don't feel a craving for it. So it is Parabhakti, the supreme devotion.
When Bhagavan Ramana read anything about gopis, tears would roll down his eyes, making them wholly blurred and stopping him from proceeding further. Bhagavan said, "One can speak a lot about jnana or knowledge, but what can one speak of bhakti or devotion?"
The gopis were not scholars. Sri Krishna Chaitanya was a great scholar and a sannyasi. In his last days, he said, "I did not attain the love that gopis possessed for Lord Krishna." Sri Krishna Chaitanya attained samadhi by just uttering the word, Krishna. Still, he said, "How can I compare my love or devotion to gopis?" The state of gopis is such that they can live without inhaling air but not without love for Lord Krishna. The concentration and purity of gopis made their very life, mind, world, and everything as Lord Krishna alone. They never cared what their family members would think about their intense love for Lord Krishna. Their love has transcended all the honor and dishonor in the world. Liberation is possible when I possess the love of a single gopi. We will get liberated even if the dust of the feet of gopis falls upon us.
The love of gopis is neither worldly nor physical. There is nothing in this world comparable to the love of gopis. It is a natural love. If one wants to transcend their ignorance and body consciousness effortlessly without an inch of suffering, it is possible only if they possess the love of gopis. The gopis did not cultivate devotion. They possessed it naturally.
Bhagavan Ramana said, "In making spiritual efforts, all the tendencies inside you emerge out. Looking at them, don't doubt whether you will secure liberation or not. Don't identify yourselves with your tendencies. If you panic, it will only increase the strength of your tendencies. All the dirt within you will vanish away if you look your thoughts apart." The gopis said, "We only concentrate upon God and not on our tendencies. We always converse about God and His playful deeds. All our tendencies get washed away in this process. If a snake crawls upon your body in a deep sleep, you are unaware of the same. So likewise, the gopis said, we are constantly contemplating God. Even if any of our tendencies emerge, we are not even aware of the same. The love of gopis is such that even while drinking milk, only the remembrance of the Lord touched their lips. Such was their love and devotion. Then where is the question of their possessing any tendencies? The path of self-inquiry states that our innate tendencies that emerge out would vanish away if one does not get identified with them. But the gopis said, "Leave out the identification with the tendencies." In the constant contemplation of God, we are not even aware of the advent and departure of the tendencies. All our tendencies get washed away in the flow of love and devotion, even if we possess any. Even then, only the feet of the Lord are visible to us.
The gopis said, "Oh, Krishna, what love do we possess for you? We are dullards. It is only you who loved us. We love you with the same love that you granted us. If you don't bless us with love and devotion for your feet, how can we get devotion for you? Being filled with the tendencies of Jiva, is it possible for us to have devotion for you?" Initially, the love of gopis was physical, and they did not consider Krishna as the Supreme Self. Krishna observed that gopis still possessed body consciousness. Therefore one day, when gopis were taking a bath, he stole their clothes and climbed a tree. Despite repeated requests, Krishna refused to give back their clothes. Finally, Krishna consented to return their clothes if they nakedly came out of the river and prayed to him. We may feel, how is it that we adore such a mischievous Krishna as Supreme Lord? The gopis were devotees but still possessed body consciousness. Until we experience self-realization, the differentiation based on sex pertains. Self is sexless. Only the one who possesses a body has sex. How can the bodiless one possess any sex? The gopis asked for their clothes, and Krishna rejected their request. After a long struggle, gopis came out of the river and prayed to him with both hands folded to give back their clothes. Thus Krishna removed the body consciousness of gopis through this Leela.
King Kamsa sent Akrura to bring Lord Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura. When Krishna was leaving Vrindavan, the gopis addressed Akrura thus: "Who has given you the name Akrura? You seem to be Krura, the cruel one, and not Akrura, the gentle one."
Radha said, "Oh, Krishna, you are leaving us in the same way people throw away their torn clothes. At least give me your flute in your memory." Krishna accordingly gave his flute to Radha. Radha played Krishna's flute to forbear Krishna's separation, thereby enabling the other gopis to hear Krishna's music. Thus Krishna never played his flute again after leaving gopis. Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura. After slaying down Kamsa, Krishna got deeply involved with the kingdom's activities. The gopis then spent their time in Lord Krishna's contemplation. Gopis imply the yogis in the form of women. Once, Krishna sent Uddhav to Vrindavan to preach self-knowledge to gopis.
Uddhav arrived in Vrindavan and addressed the gopis. He said, "You are all anxious about Krishna. To attain the formless state, you have to transcend the form. To achieve the state of non-duality, you have to transcend the duality. Until and unless you transcend the gunas, you cannot attain self-realization. All the gunas, the sattva, rajas, tamas, the likes and dislikes are within the mind. How long will you chant the name of Krishna? Krishna doesn't imply a name or a form. You must know the essence of Krishna. That is, you must realize the self."
The gopis replied, "You may consider yourselves to be a scholar and try to explain to us about the self-realization. But it is all waste of time. We only have ears but not the listener to listen to your words. You are telling us something. But there should be someone here that is the mind to listen to your words. You may feel that you are greatly preaching about the self. But where is the listener here? It is not the ears that hear. It is only the mind which listens. When we gave away our minds to Krishna, who is there to listen to your words? Hence, you can go back. It is only the ignorant who think that we are mad about Krishna. But Krishna implies the self. Don't you know this simple truth?"
Uddhav felt that gopis did not understand the self. Hence he started stating Kailasa, Vaikuntha, heaven, and all the pleasures or happiness available there. The gopis replied, "We agree there is a lot of happiness in Vaikuntha or Kailasa or the heaven. But when we are experiencing a much greater bliss here, why should we bother about them? What is the worth of a paisa when compared to a rupee? Similarly, what is the worth of Vaikuntha or Kailasa or heaven compared to the bliss we are experiencing?" You can utter these words relating to self to the appropriate audience. Suppose a child offers you a paisa in return for 100 rupee note. Will you forego the 100 rupee note? No. Similarly, how can we give up our bliss in return for the happiness in Vaikuntha or Kailasa or heaven?
Uddhav replied, saying that all this world refers to a dream. Then the gopis said, "Even if it is all a dream, we see only Krishna in our dream. We don't view the dream as a dream. We see only Krishna even in our dreams. We only see Krishna, whether in the waking state or dream state. Uddhav was utterly confused and did not understand how to reply.
Therefore the gopis are but the Maharishis and Mahatmas who took the form of women. Otherwise, they couldn't have replied thus. Uddhav possessed the ego that he was a great devotee. So Krishna, to teach him a lesson, asked Uddhav to meet the gopis, stating that he was not finding time to do the same. After meeting the gopis, Uddhav realized that what he possessed was not true devotion. Therefore, it was all the play of Krishna to reform Uddhav. Before reaching Vrindavan, Uddhav chanted, "Hail to Lord Krishna." But after leaving Vrindavan, he chanted, "Hail to Gopis, hail to Radha."
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
The Leelas of Radha and Krishna is visible in Vrindavan. Many people say that Vyasa did not mention Radha in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Radha's character is fictional. According to them, Rukmini and Satyabhama existed but not Radha. However, this is false. Radha is not an illusionary character. Even Radha lived just like we are living now. Vyasa may not have mentioned Radha in Srimad Bhagavatam, but Brahmavaivarta Purana mentions Radha. We consider Radha either a devotee or a lover of Krishna. Therefore, we view Radha to be separate from Krishna. However, Radha is not separate from Krishna. Lord Krishna, himself incarnated as Radha to show us how to attain the grace of God through love and by concentrating the mind and intellect upon the Lord. Radha is the path, and Krishna is the goal. Therefore, Krishna himself incarnated as Radha to show us how to attain him.
Radha loved Krishna remarkably, and so did Krishna loved her extremely. But they never had any physical relationship. Radha's love for Krishna was beyond any limits. So if Radha talked anything, it was only for Krishna's pleasure. She did any work only if Krishna would be pleased by that work. She did not do anything that would displease Krishna. Radha loved Krishna only for the sake of love. She possessed neither any material desires nor the desire for liberation in return. Therefore Radha is our ideal. Without having any physical relationship, without having any sensual relationship, and without having any worldly relationship, Radha and Krishna had infinite love for each other. Their love was pure, divine, unworldly, and beyond any physical limits. Therefore, if we also possess the same kind of love that Radha had towards Krishna, we will get liberated in this very birth.
In Uttar Pradesh, both Radha and Krishna have the same amount of reverence. Due to constant contemplation of Krishna, by constantly listening to his words, by visualizing him in everything and everywhere, Radha attained a state where Radha has become Krishna himself, and Krishna has become Radha herself. Therefore, Radha is the symbol of eternal love for Krishna.
Lord Krishna has the title, the butter thief. Here butter refers to our mind. Our mind becomes butter-like only when we possess Radha's selfless love for Krishna.
Radha knew only the contemplation of Krishna and not of the sensual objects. It implies she did not control after the rise of desire for sensual pleasures, but the desire itself did not arise in her. When she constantly contemplated Lord Krishna, how could the craving for sensual pleasures arise in her? Radha's love for Krishna is beyond the physical and worldly limits. Her love for Krishna neither increased nor decreased but always remained stable. It is divine love. It is an endless love.
The sky exists up, and the earth exists down. Suppose the sky and the earth hug each other. We would think, what a wonderful sight it is. When Radha and Krishna hugged each other, it looked equally excellent. There is no tendency relating to the body in it. It is beyond this world. Radha is aware that she is not the body, and so is Krishna aware that he is not the body. It is only the self that exists. Therefore the bliss hugged the bliss, the peace hugged the peace. Unable to understand the same, we find fault with their relationship. The Lord does not possess the tendency, sin, and flaw relating to nature. If we still view the same within the Lord, we lack devotion, discrimination, and discipline.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Usually, worldly people consider Krishna's relationship with gopis as lust and not as love. When Krishna reached Vrindavan, he was 6 years old. How can a 6-year-old boy possess lust? There is a reason for Krishna having such a relationship with the gopis. In the incarnation of Rama, the Lord acted like an ordinary man even though he was a divine incarnation. He did not even realize that he was a divine incarnation unless reminded. While living in the forests, the Lord visited various rishis and maharishis, took their blessings, and requested them to preach. When Rama prostrated the maharishis, they used to hug him in return. When they hugged the Supreme Lord, they used to experience an eternal bliss and joy. They asked the Lord for a boon to enjoy that bliss and joy forever. Then Lord Rama replied, "It is not possible in this birth. I will stay here for a day. I can't stay here forever. I have a work to carry on, so I need to proceed further." Later, when the Lord incarnated as Krishna, these Maharishis became gopis and hugged the Lord to experience eternal bliss and joy. However, they did not hug him out of lust. When body consciousness doesn't exist, hugging a woman is equivalent to hugging a coconut tree. How can you understand the same while possessing lust? How can it be termed lust when the body consciousness doesn't exist? Lord Krishna was Athendriya, he was beyond all the senses. Though he had the senses, it was equivalent to not possessing them. Therefore, the one who transcended duality will remain untouched even when hugged by women. When Bhishma, an eternal celibate, himself did not want women, why shall the Supreme Lord Krishna require any women? The Rasa Leela, the dance Krishna performed with the gopis, the married women, was only to bestow them with the highest bliss. The devotion of gopis reached such a supreme stage that they even rejected liberation. They got contented with devotion. They experienced and enjoyed, to the maximum extent, the joy and bliss contained in devotion.
Come on, let's chant His name. Lord Krishna will be happy. Radha Rani will bless you and offer you the Krishna prem. So let's chant loudly, leave all anxiety. And please don't be worried, chant and be happy. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. at last.